You're listening to Tabletop Arcanum, a podcast dedicated to learning and exploring the hobby of tabletop gaming. Your hosts are Justin Taylor and Richard Geese, so sit back and relax as we talk, discuss, and joke our way through the hobby we love so much.
Welcome to Tabletop Arcanum with your hosts,
Justin
and Ricky. And once again, we're joined by
Doug.
Thanks, Doug.
Doug, thanks for staying with us this whole entire weekend.
This is the last night you actually have to,
deal with you guys.
Yeah. So, God, it is 2 in.the morning after day 3 of GenCon. Day kind of 4 for us because we were here on Wednesday. And it's exhausting. This has been a marathon, and I'm seeing the finish line, but there's still another 5K in front of me. But I can see the finish line, so that's good.
Yeah, we tried getting as much out of the day as possible, and I'd say we were fairly successful.
You guys, you and Tony had a Arkham Blob experience today.
Yep, and
it was the blobbiest.
It was the blobbiest, and we did fantastic and thoroughly enjoyed it. And then we all came back, and you, me, him, and one of our other friends played again just to give it a shot, just to see how it was.
With people we knew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then even then we did better.
Yeah, it was fun. Every group that they've run through this scenario has succeeded. Talking with Matt, GenCon is also the highest player count they've ever run through in this scenario. There's technically no upper limit to it. You just need one blob that ate everything packed for every group of 4 players. So if you want to run a giant, massive cutoff of people, you can. You just have to have, number of players divided by 4 packs. And that's so much that they are doing a mega version of it tomorrow on the last day. That's, I believe, 96 players.
That's going to be insane.
Because they're taking, essentially they have 4 long tables. 2 of the tables for Arkham, 2 of them are set up for Lord of the Rings. To do the massive Arkham, because they know how popular it is, they took away seats from one session in Lord of the Rings to do this 96 monster. So if it goes well, we'll see. And I know they're excited to do this at Arkham Knights this year, too, because that's going to be an entire room full of people that can play this scenario.
Yeah.
And, the only thing that Matt was saying about it that when I talking to him was his little concern was more of when you get that many more players, there's that much room for player error, and that might make the difficulty harder. Everything is very scalable.
But I felt for people who
you have more
knew what they're doing, you can definitely see that there are certain groups that are just killing it with collecting
the clues,
or
doing damage, whatever they need to do at the time. Yeah, there are some groups that were doing better than others, and that definitely helps.
You would hear one group after a round say 31 points of damage, and then other teams would be like, well, we got 3, because they just weren't set up for it when it happened. Right,
and that happens. My first scenario that I played through was like that, where we saw it coming, and then we were able to get the right cards in the right place and do, I think, consistently 12 to 15 damage each time that situation popped up in the scenario. So that's a lot of fun. I personally ran through the rest of the dealer hall today, picking up stuff and finding other neat new items, whether it be dice, whether it be trays, whether I showed you, Doug, the just finished on Kickstarter. They're going to be going on regular production cycle soon. This collapsible vault that, the dice tray is magnetic. It slaps together, but when you collapse it, then the dice tower that is magnetized goes inside.
Yeah, those are gorgeous.
Snaps in, and it's made out of a lot of fancy hardwood. So the price ranged from I think it was a base $200 for an ash version of everything, up to $400 or $500 for ebony hardwood. So,
yeah, and that's for a full set. Your dice tray, your tower, and your holder,
and the dice vault.
Dice vault, yeah.
And then the dice vault, and then the lid also.
Yeah.
Because the lid has like room for a pencil or markers, and it comes with like a stainless steel plate that is, because it's all magnetized, you can just slap on and you can write on it.
Dry erase, put your character's name or
I can show this
else.
thing to you.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
I mean, yeah, the price point's up there, but it's definitely a premium product.
It's up there, but it's also like they're in the same ballpark that like the Wormwood products are.
They weren't too
Elderwood.
far off, and I
it's
do like
all the same. Like, yes, they're high quality wood, and it's handmade stuff. So
yeah, yes. I think this product felt more solid and substantial. I do really like the Wormwood. I like the style of kind of the scroll shaped the tower.
That isn't Wormwood. That's Elderwood. Elderwood.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, Wormwood is actually the dice tray I have and our buddy Darby has.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but again, very similar companies doing very similar product lines in their own unique creative way. So Elderwood even does some very crazy cool, like it looks like a scroll tube, the dice tower or the dice trays, magnetic walls. It rolls up and then slips inside, and then one end is a dice vault. So
yeah,
another way of doing it, and just as pretty. So, that was the big stuff for me.
I know we met up later at night. What did you do all day, Doug?
So today was really my day to get into the vendor hall and just spend some time wandering around. So I was really front-loaded on events and seminars the first couple of days.
Same here.
Didn't have a whole lot of time to get down to the exhibit hall, a little bit here and there. So today I really only have one event, and everything else was just kind of unstructured time to wander and take it in.
Nice.
Definitely, my wallet's not loving me for it right now, but...
Well... You could, like, sell plasma or something. I don't know. Or, quite honestly, it's... So I kind of want to talk to you guys about this one. There is a culture of going to conventions, getting that hot new release, and then just listing the thing on eBay. Some people make a lot of money doing that. What are your initial thoughts of that?
I'm not a huge fan of people who go specifically just to buy items just to list them. I like to go and buy stuff that I want myself.
Right. And then maybe buy for friends or someone back home that's not there.
I mean,
I've done that a few times here. Is like, I know you can't make it. Let me see if I can get this for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely did that with the new Pathfinder books, but I kind of feel the same way. And I haven't done that like here at GenCon with games, but I've done that in the past with, back in when like PlayStation 2 was released and or the Wii or whatever. I have done that in the past, but nowadays I don't like the idea of people who buy that with the sole intention to flip it, because you're taking it out of the hands of somebody who could have purchased it at retail and was going to actually use it and enjoy it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, if I end up with extra promos or things that like kind of like what you said, Ricky, if I end up with it and then it's like, well, I'm not going to want this, but someone else might because I won a prize or something, that's when I'll probably list it and see, let the free market kind of decide, like, if they want to pay an insane amount of money for it, great, you do what you want with that money. Thank you very much. I'm very happy about it because we got the Keyforge decks very early last year, and both of us decided like we just don't want to be the only people in our area with Keyforge decks, and then listed them, and they help cover some of the cost of our con, but we didn't chase after them.
Yeah, and I wouldn't list it with like the expectation of, okay, I got this for X amount of dollars. I'm going to list it for 4 times that and wait until someone buys it. If I list something, I do it as an auction, started off at 99 cents.
And just let them decide.
Yeah. I had a lot of like those Keyforge pins last year, and people would buy them, and I would just throw extra ones in there just because I had them.
Right.
I didn't necessarily want them,
Mm-hmm.
so I try to at least be nice to these people who are clearly super fans of it.
Super fans or trying to complete a set or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think the only other one that the only time I ever really do something is like if I end up like, if I'm like on the fence, I'll list something with a reserve. Like as long as I make what I put in, what it cost me to get, whether it be an entry fee or something like that, as long or of that nature, that's when I'll put like, okay, it cost me $20 to play this event, which got me this stuff, and I don't really want the stuff. I just wanted to play the event. Let me, at least maybe make my $20 back. And if it happens to go higher, it happens to go higher. But I'm very content with wherever it lands.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with putting it out there, and even with making a few bucks on it. It's just the.
I think it's the intention of like you're first through the door, you get the super exclusive thing, and then like literally within an hour, it's listed.
And if you're the one getting in line with that being your goal, I'm buying it to flip it. I'm buying it to make money.
Right.
Or like the people who'll just jump right back into line and buy multiples
to do
of the
it again.
same item to just keep doing it and doing it and doing it. And it's like I'll buy the one that was meant for me, and after that, I'm not gonna. If I sell it, I don't deserve to have it. So it's not something that I really wanted in the first place to keep it. But
I think we're all kind of on the same page with that. I definitely understand why people do it.
I do too,
and I also understand the other side of it of like, man, I really wanted that. I couldn't go to the GenCon, or maybe you live far enough away from. Like we're very lucky that we are still within driving a reasonable road trip distance of GenCon. It's not in our back door like it used to be years ago, but that's okay. Coming from like North Chicagoland, like Milwaukee's nothing. Where it was there for several years, and well, back when it started in Lake Geneva, like that was like maybe an hour for us. But I would say, I'm just kind of thinking through and stream of thought here. Like, what if like you're in California and just between the cost of a hotel, cost of badge, cost of hotel, cost of flight, maybe even cost of like taking off work, are all factors that you can say, well, I'm not spending money on all those things, so I have no problem dropping $100, $150 on this thing that realistically doesn't cost that much. But in order for me to get it, could have cost me that much in just other expenses.
You've also been on the opposite side of that, where you couldn't make it to something and you wanted the exclusive, like your Leo DeLuca.
Yeah, the Leo DeLuca promos from 2 Gen Cons ago.
Yeah, you didn't get them, so you had to go online and you bought them.
I did.
And
they did not cost me nearly as much as
they're going for now.
What they're going for now, because they're so rare now. But no, it was something I wanted, and I paid a little bit of a premium for them, but not. I had my own budget of like what I felt was reasonable for alternate art cards, and I was fine with that.
Yeah,
because I didn't go to Gen Con. So again, didn't cost me time off, didn't cost me the badge cost, didn't cost me my personal time. So if you actually factor all that in,
If you think of it that way, and that, I mean, obviously there's a demand for it and a limited supply, so there's going to be the market for those things.
Always will be.
I'll always check with people first, like people from the area.
That's
first,
actually what I tend to do.
Yeah, I don't know necessarily if there's something that I have currently that I'm 100% set on selling. But if I do, I'll check and see if someone from our shop is interested in it. So.
Case in point, those limited edition Vulture droids from Adepticon this year for X-Wing. I got my hands on 2. And I'm like, well, I only ever, really going to fly one of them and I can pick up the other versions of them because I needed the upgrade cards that came with them anyway. So I actually looked at a couple of local guys and went, hey, I actually ended up with an extra one. Do you want it? And sold it to him for just what I paid, and said, hey, thanks.
Yeah, it's always good to give
back, spread the wealth.
Yeah.
I was actually toying, if nobody actually really was like really invested in wanting it, it was like actually was an idea to put it up as a prize pool.
Yeah.
For like a tournament, like winner gets this exclusive ship that literally had to chase for.
Yeah.
So there's good things, there's bad things. I think overall it is what it is, and if people want to flip and people want to buy, that's fine. That's their decision.
Yeah.
It's just something I don't do.
Yeah, and I'll say from experience, too, that the market is there, yes, now. It's not always going to be there. So anybody who flips, there's always a risk there that the bottom of the market drops out and you're left with holding a product that you don't want that's not selling for what you bought it for.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's those vinyl pop, those Funko Pops.
Yeah.
Like, I
throw a dart on the wall. Some of them are worth a lot of money, and others are just not.
Yeah, and I've picked up a few. I'm not a huge collector. I have maybe like 5 of them. But for Christmas, I've given my girlfriend one for the past 2 years. And it turns out the one I got her last year, I bought for $10 from Walmart. It's going for $70 right now on eBay. And she's like, I don't understand why this is $70. I'm like, this is this generation's Beanie Babies. Like,
right.
At one point, someone's going to say, this is a $10,000 Princess Diana bear, and tomorrow it's, okay, well, that was cool, but all it did was sit on a shelf, and who really wants it anymore?
So how's everybody's Gen Con evening? Because we actually got to do stuff as a kind of a subgroup again. Because all of us had different events, and we're, timetables and things were all over the place, and we kind of all got together-ish again, at least the group that kind of coordinated this trip. Along with, I ran into like 3 or 4 people that I know just around. I ran into Josh, who was on the show the other night, our other buddy, JR, oh, you're at the con. Hey, hi, how you doing? How's what have you seen? And the kind of swap stories and stuff of that nature. So,
yeah, I didn't really have much else. So I stayed in the vendor hall basically until they kicked us out, turned the lights off, and said, "Get out of here." Made a quick trip back to the room to unload some weight, and then made my way down to the stadium to the gaming library. Met up with my brother and another friend, and just started playing some games.
So yeah. I want to talk about the value of that game library. We finally did it. I know you did it, Doug. You did it yesterday?
Yeah, I was there last night for a little while and was there again pretty much all evening today.
Okay.
Did you feel like it was worth it for was it $44?
So if you get the full weekend, it's $44. That's essentially Thursday when the con opens until Sunday the con closes. Your full access, and also they won't kick you out.
Yeah,
because they have a capacity limit, and
so I'll be honest. Originally, when I was buying it, I wasn't 100% sold on it, but I knew a few people were, and I figured it'd be nice to have that option. I think it's totally worth it. Even only spending a couple of evenings and playing a handful of games there. For one, the convenience. So once you get in and get checked in, you get your colored bracelet, you attach it to your lanyard. You never have to stand in line again. You just wave your badge by, and you walk right in.
Right. They kind of spot check you and go, yep, you got the right color.
Yeah, the right color. I know another friend had not gotten the weekend pass, so he had to buy individual time slots, and each time for the new time slot, he had to stand in line again, wait for capacity, wait for people to clear out. Whereas with the weekend badge, once you got that set up, you're in and out in seconds.
Okay.
So if it's something you're going to do more than like once for a couple of hours, it's definitely worth it just to have that.
Yeah.
And yeah, you are paying a little bit premium cost on the convenience factor, like you were saying.
Yeah. And it's
like
also one of those.
Ultimately, like if you had just done the generic tickets, you probably would have spent maybe half as much.
I would not recommend relying on generic tickets for those because, like you said, they have the capacity limit.
Right.
And even with the generic tickets, like they have specific time slots, tickets for that library, and they get precedence. So if you show up with a generic ticket, you're not even guaranteed to be able to get in at all.
Right.
I remember last year we tried to come in with generics. It was probably a busier time, evening on like Friday night. But
after the vendor hall closes, post dinner, dinner time.
But they turned us away. They said, "Sorry, there's no capacity. You got to have either the weekend pass or a specific time slot." So if you want to be able to get in there and actually play some games, I like the gaming hall a lot more this year after being there because it's a great event. It's a great thing to do. It's open 24 hours.
It's on Lucas Oil Fields.
Yeah.
Lucas Oil Stadium's field, which is honestly is an impressive thing just to sit on a football field, a pro football field, and play board games. In a I stood up and just kind of scoped the room. Half of them, it was about a quarter of the field was actually the game library area. The another quarter on the same half was just general tables for people to plop down and play games and just kind of open space that you just can grab. And then the rest of it was more organized events and things of that. And while we were out there late tonight, so the organized events were kind of wind down. There was still stuff going on, but for the most part, the other 50 yards of this field was filled up with people playing games.
Yep,
which is super cool.
And unfortunately, they do have most of the field covered, but there is a section right in the middle where you can go walk out on the actual AstroTurf of the field and take a picture, and that's right at the 50-yard line, right in the middle of the field.
Yep, that makes sense.
Yeah, that was cool. I got to touch some AstroTurf, and it's something you can't really say that you do too often.
Yeah.
I'm no pro football player.
Yeah. I mean, last time I've actually seen something where a non-football player was standing on that field was Parks and Rec. So it's like, oh, this is where Andy Dwyer had his
it's true.
His fake bachelor party. That's cool. But I thought we only did it, me and Justin only did it for one night.
Right.
And we brought two people with us. They they were able to actually go and buy the time slot at that time. So they were just able to buy it and then
it was
walk
open
in when it was open. Yeah. It's hard to rely, like you said, Doug, it's hard to rely on that. So that's one of those things that if you're not fully committed to it, you can potentially still do it, but you just have to make sure when your time is when it's your time, you're there, you're ready to go. I would definitely do it again. We played Role Player. Role Player. Yeah, that was a ton of fun. Turns out like after we set everything up, I'm like, oh yeah, no, I have played this before, but it was nice to play a game that I played with someone 2 or 3 years ago, just randomly. Just have it pulled out and go at it again.
And for all of the strategy games and deeper games that we play, my brother and my friend were getting obsessed with this game called Drop It, which is so simple and easy to play. But
yeah, it's a neat game.
It was a lot of fun, and it's easy to forget about some of those games. And you get into a game library like that, you have so many options, and you can pick up a stupid game and try it. And you might love it, or you might hate it, and after 5 minutes, just say, I'm done with this, let's go do something else.
Yeah.
So many options, so much flexibility with that.
And it helps you find games that you may want to buy in the dealer's hall the next day. I know both of our friends, when we couldn't find that game right before we left, they just said, you know what, maybe tomorrow we're going to go over there and we're just going to pick it up.
Yeah.
Because we enjoyed it enough that we'll actually go and grab it. So it's definitely worth it. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and with that weekend pass, we have that option to just swing by and play a game or two before we head out.
Yeah, we could stop in tomorrow and just plop down and play a little more, and then.
And that'll be wrapping up. It's Sunday, so everything's a little bit early. The vendor halls actually closes at 4, and then the game library is going to be, I think, somewhere between 3 and 4, because they literally have to pack up and get everything out of here.
Yeah.
So so they can, Indiana can have its stadium back from all this nerds
and city.
Yeah, and the city. Oh, it's really exciting because Indianapolis really comes out in support for GenCon, in the sense of like the mayor's always supportive of it, and the city officials are always kind of key. Honestly, I'm sure it makes the city hand over fist money because it's how many people come into this thing for 4/5 days.
Yeah.
And I know last year we were talking with like our Uber drivers and stuff, and they're like, "Oh yeah, this is a great time for us because I can make quick trips for people who are like, that 3 blocks away, or half a mile away, or 3 miles away, and just kind of make this like round trip over and over and over, and get a lot of rides really easily."
Yeah,
because people are up at all hours of the night at this con.
I don't remember where I heard it, but I heard that it's something like 200,000 people in like a few mile radius of the city for the weekend.
Oh yeah, it's an insane number to really think about it.
Yeah. So let's rate. I know we're not fully through GenCon.
Right.
We're not going to do an episode tomorrow. We're going to do a full recap next week.
Yeah, we'll give you a break of hearing us ramble on tomorrow, and then we're gonna go on to our regular scheduled recording program. So that'll put us not next week, but the week after we'll record. I kind of probably just do a little bit of a Gen Con recap of final thoughts, things we've saw, things that are coming up, and maybe talk about a couple more of the games that we have purchased, and hopefully by then have at least played once to kind of talk about those a little bit. So
yeah. So with that being said, let's say what was the best moment that you had this weekend? I'll put you on the spot first, Justin, since you are part of this podcast regularly. Doug, you are a guest, so I'll let you get a moment to think about that.
Yeah, you can. Okay. Wow, best moment. I'm trying to think because I got a couple good moments. As far as events go, I think my best moment was playing the Arkham Horror Blob event, and because it was a group of about 40, I think we had 48 players. As a group succeeding against the scenario, and just the cheers and cries and like hurrahs of like, yes, we did it as a team, even though I was just playing with like 3 other guys that I had just met. Us and the other 44 all got through this together in some capacity. It was a neat feeling for that. And honestly, the other real big moment, and it's just this weird thing, is day one, Thursday morning, when we were waiting to get into the vendor hall, and the organization staff comes out and kind of does like a welcome speech, and they roll the first official die roll of Gen Con, and it's just that energy level, and you can see pictures online. We posted some from where we were, but some of the more impressive ones are from people who were on the second or third levels in that hallway, just seeing the sea of people, seeing the excitement and the energy in the room.
Yeah.
And I guess caveat on that one would be the chant that started today, which was from the head of security, who is retiring this year. They opened the doors before they let everybody in. He started with a chant of "Here we come."
Yeah.
And just having the sea of people chant "Here we come"
the whole
into
hall,
this hall,
yeah.
into the vendor hall. I kind of want to know what it's like on the other side of being in a booth before the mad rush and just hearing "Here we come," especially the ones that are further back who can't see it.
Yeah.
And just know it's out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's just gaming with everybody. We're all here. I think the head of security said it best. We're one tribe, and we all have something in common. Whether we love RPGs, whether we love board games, whether we are LARPers. We're all gamers.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
So that's my
Good.
moments.
Nice. Doug?
I don't know that I have one moment that stands out, so I'll answer this a little bit differently. One of my favorite things in general about this con was getting to some of the seminars and panels that I got into. So this is definitely something I didn't do last year, being my first year and not really knowing what to expect and just kind of winging it. But having been really getting into Pathfinder D&D lately, and as you, Justin, probably know, as far as board games, I really don't buy a whole lot. Between the games you own, my brother owns, and the other friends that we have, there's really no need for me to buy a lot of games.
So what you're saying is you leech off of us?
Exactly.
Okay.
That's all you're good
Hey,
for.
I need players. Is my usual problem. It's like, this is a really cool game. It requires 2 or 3 minimum players. I need friends who are willing to play games with me. Are you my friend?
So I probably approach Gen Con a little bit differently than you and a couple of the other friends that we come with. I'll go obviously play test new stuff and see what's out there, but I'm not really looking to buy things. I do a lot of merch shopping, and I tend to now have a focus heavily on RPGs.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot. I playtest or not playtested, but I tried out and had a demo of the new Dune by Gale Force 9 this morning because that like. My rush of like, oh, let me get the new shiny things or whatever interesting thing I had was kind of done, except for like they were demoing it, and it was a hard demo to get into because they were only running like one table of it, and it's like 30 minutes. So like,
yeah,
that is a cool game.
Yeah,
it's asymmetric. We'll talk about it later once we start playing it, but definitely I'm excited for that one to come out. And Doug, I'm gonna need players.
Yeah.
Hope you like war games that are asymmetrical.
Sure.
Yeah.
We'll give it a shot.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, getting to get into the minds of some of these folks who have been playing and DMing for years upon years and have different styles and different takes on how to do things and different perspectives is just really enlightening to kind of see how different people handle things.
And honestly, there's no right or wrong way.
No, exactly, and that's what a lot of the components of these. One of the repeated messages was that like you can have people who want to hack and slash game, and you can have people who want social intrigue game. Neither one's right or wrong. It's about what does your table want or your players want, and what does the DM want to run.
Yeah.
What's going to make the table that you're at have the most fun?
Exactly.
Because that's why you're there.
And I like the way the last panel I went to today, they were talking about different storytelling styles. And I like the way the one guy, I don't remember any of the names of the people that talked, but the way he put it, he was talking about, he went and joined an open game at one of his game stores, and things didn't work out well. And the way he put it was, he wanted this option A, and I wanted this option B. And that's fine. That was fun for him. This was fun for me. His fun is not my fun.
Right.
Different people have different notions of what's fun and what they want to do. Nothing wrong with that.
There's been many a game over my long history of playing RPGs that I've come to the realization. There's a famous one that I was part of that went on for years after I left the game. But I sat down with the DM and went, this is D&D 4th edition. I wanted to give it a go. And there's a bunch of different factors that just, I'm not enjoying it. And it's not 100% your fault. It's not 100% my fault. It's a bunch of different factors. I like the players I was with, but I didn't like the system. And and it was a bit of a drive. It was hard to coordinate for me to make it, and because I wasn't a huge fan of the system, and I live on mechanics. That's just who I am. And I know that about me. And if I can't enjoy the system that I'm playing, even in a minor degree, if this was in like down the street from my house, I would probably stick it out because I was having a good time with my friends.
Yeah.
This was over an hour drive one way to this game. So it was like, and obviously we would play for a long time, so it was kind of worth it, but it was like this was a whole day chewed up that I could. spend time with my wife. I could play other games. I could have, more than one day off on the weekend that was around the house, things like that. So I get that. And I think you have to be mature enough as a gamer to realize when you can say that, and communication's king.
Absolutely.
You got to talk to, you can't bottle stuff up, because we're nobody's a mind reader. Unless Ricky, are you a mind reader?
Redacted.
Oh, man. Good. Freaking old babies.
Don't bring them up.
I do like the fact that when you find a good group to run with, you have those. You can go back to games that you've played. Redacted was a game that we played with one of our. Was something my character said in a game that we played with another friend.
Right.
Old Babies came from
our Betrayal Legacy game.
Yeah. So it's nice when you have that group that is there to play and they enjoy the game. And
their stories and their shared experiences, which is one of the other cool things. I love RPGs for that. It's a shared group experience, and I can tell you I have wars. It's almost like war stories with people about, remember the time that we did this or this happened and we had to, we kind of broke a system and decided to sunder the neck of a crystal dragon. I know of a story about that, where pretty much one-shotted a crystal dragon because he decided to break the neck opposed to killing it. And the DM's is very much very good for story, very good for things like that. And just that's what happened. Let's do this. And the rolls worked and the math worked, and off goes the head because he literally chopped it off and attacked it, in a different fashion that he had that they went with. So it's all good.
Yeah,
I like it all.
Yeah. So my
What about you, Ricky? What is your favorite moment of GenCon?
I'm not gonna lie. I've been talking everyone's ear off who would listen to me about Horrified. I've seen so much stuff about it online. I've been following it. I saw that they're going to have the exclusive Invisible Man clear character, which honestly I don't know why they don't do that for everything. I don't know if it's just more expensive.
It might be.
Yeah. But it lived up to all the hype in my head. I thoroughly enjoyed. I've only played one game so far. The nice thing is it is a 1 to 5 player, so you can play with.
You can solo it.
You could solo it. You could play with friends. I played one game with our friend Tony, and it took us a little while to understand, and then the moment we understand, it clicked. It was fast. It was fun. So I'd say my favorite moment is just a game that I was very excited for. Actually lived up to the hype. I got a copy of it. When I showed up to the stand, the person who was standing at the end of the line is like, honestly, you probably should just show up tomorrow because we only have 10 left, and I don't know if it's still going to be there when you wait through this entire line. And I just got lucky enough that by the time I got to the front of the line, it was still there, ready to go. So I was thoroughly excited.
Right, and because I had played it prior at Gamma earlier this year when Tony and I went out to Reno, we had our eyes on Unmatched by Restoration Games, and the biggest thing is they were running the Bruce Lee limited edition single figure that you could buy. I got that on, that was one of my I do want to do this and want to get that promo or limited edition character.
You wanted to get it no matter what. And we did find out it is going to be an online exclusive going forward without the promo you received with
it. The promo wasn't really what I wanted. I wanted to make sure I got Bruce Lee for that game because back in high school I was obsessed with Bruce Lee, and it resonates with me in a personal way, and I love the game because it's the old Star Wars Duels game, but now it's legends of whatever whether they're fictional legends or real life legends like Bruce Lee. We can have Bruce Lee versus Bigfoot.
Yeah, I saw the 3 that I saw. I don't know about the core set, but the 3 that I saw was Bigfoot, Was it Robin Hood?
It's Robin Hood versus Bigfoot is the 2-player set. The main box, which is Volume 1, which is 4 characters. You get King Arthur. You get Alice from Alice in Wonderland. Sinbad from the Arabian Tales. Not the comedian. And Medusa.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
So, like, fictional, real, like, it's a mix of everything. And talking with Restoration Games, they're sky's the limit. Like, literally, whatever. The head of Restoration Games is a huge Bruce Lee fan, which is why he went, we want to make Bruce Lee in this game. So, that's what he wanted. So, boom, there it is.
Yeah.
So, what else? Anything else?
Just being able to play games all weekend was a lot of fun. I'm just still awestruck with everything we did. Blob was fantastic.
Yeah. So much fun there.
Being able to...
It's the blobbiest.
The Marvel Champions...
LCG. That was announced, and then they were demoing.
We only played a little bit of it, but from what I played, thoroughly enjoyed. So there's definitely a lot of stuff going on that if you knew where to be or if you knew where to go, you could definitely find something that you would fall in love with instantly.
Right. Unfortunately, what I fell in love with instantly is very, very expensive dice.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be my goal tomorrow is to find a nice dice set for myself. My girlfriend's family plays a dice game, and I don't actually know the name of it or anything. I just know it's played with 5d6. So,
boy, do I have a store for you.
Oh, trust me. I found...
one of my goals was to find a bunch of special dice, so I know pretty much where all of the dice vendors are and what styles and what's where.
Yeah, I want to find a nice pair, a nice set of dice for that game for when me and her are going to be moving in together soon. And I figured as a nice housewarming gift for us, I could say this because I'm fairly certain she doesn't listen. But I want to get her a nice set of dice so that when her family's over, we can play the game. It's to the point that, like, her grandpa taught it to all of them. We'll show up to Christmas, and at 3 a.m, her grandpa's like, break out the quarters, we're playing for keeps. Like, they don't mess around.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. So what's the goal for tomorrow? We have a few hours left after, we sleep. It's already 2:50. What's the goal for tomorrow?
I still got a little bit of the vendor hall that I haven't really had a chance to spend time in yet, so I plan on probably spending the morning in there, grab some lunch, maybe play a game or two at the library, and then just take it from there if we want to, hang around and find something else to do, or if we want to start heading out.
And I think that's my main goal is I've hit both sides of the dealer's room, like in detail, depending on if we were in the demo hall or in the event hall.
Right,
playing games.
Kind of depending where we needed to be.
Or, like, I hit up a few things on the other side. Like, Fantasy Flight is all the way on the other side. I've been to Restoration games a few times because I'm trying to pick up that Bruce Lee promo, and it's just very elusive, and I can't get my hands on it. So I've been on both sides repeatedly. Today we actually tried going row to row until we had to go for the Arkham Horror event. So I'm hoping to hit that final middle section, and then I'm hoping to find a few more deals on games that I'm on the fence with. And I do know a lot of the times on Sunday, if you are perusing the vendor hall, if a company doesn't want to bring stuff back.
In the last few hours, they do tend to get a little bit wheeling and dealing.
Yeah, you'll have like employees just like walk out into the aisle and just start yelling, "Hey, this is a $50 game. Do you want it for $20?" And like start pointing at people, $20.
Shipping costs.
Yeah,
honestly, shipping and packing and getting all that stuff back is costly. It's not as risky as like comic book conventions where like all the statues and like super fine detail stuff is, because every time, like for example, like with those, like every time you ship it is a chance for that thing to be damaged or broken.
Yeah.
And you don't want that to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Games are a little bit more durable, but you still don't want them to be broken or damaged, or, well, they are big and weighty, so you don't want to ship that because it's just costly.
Yeah.
I know last year I drove down here with just me and my brother in a car, and I usually take the day off after a trip to unwind, but he hadn't, so he wanted to kind of get out.
Get moving a little sooner.
Get moving a little sooner. So we didn't stay. We stayed till about lunchtime, and then we started heading back because he wanted time to get home and pack and clean up and all that. This year, I know everybody that I came down here in a car with is all off on Monday. So we're a little more flexible this year on sticking around. So I might be inclined to stick around and just kind of see what kind of deals come out and what we might be able to snag, as things are winding down.
Yeah.
Artist Alley is my plan for tomorrow, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to make it. I did check it out.
It's something
Thursday, briefly, but I need to take another walk through there.
There's a lot of really talented people.
There are so much. I just love, even if it doesn't fit in my house or whatever. I just love just taking in the art. Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of times what I've been doing, because I'll chat them up, I'll talk to them, usually, of course, compliment, like, hey, this is really cool. It looks great. Keep doing what you're doing, and then snag business cards usually. And then I'll usually will buy after the fact or contact them after the fact, because I can't impulse buy that.
Yeah.
I would like to, but it's a matter of I only have so much wall space, and I have a wife. So
you have a wife who's who has a degree in interior design.
Yeah, so she kind of has a little bit of a say what we get to put on the walls.
Yeah.
Luckily, when we went to New Orleans, she was physically with me. So when I found really cool art that I liked, she could kind of like give the sign off and approval and her input right then and there. She doesn't come to GenCon, despite my efforts in offering. But
yeah, it's not for everyone.
No.
But they do have, I think we talked about last year, and I think we've probably talked about it
in the So You're Going to GenCon episode.
Yeah, and there's probably a ton of people who have heard us say the same things over and over and over again over these past 3-4 episodes.
Yeah, there's stuff for kids and there's stuff for significant others who are non-gamers.
Yeah.
Whether it's yoga sessions, whether it's ballroom dancing, whether it's just craft stuff like crocheting, knitting, sewing, seminars, like all sorts of stuff. Like, it's insane how much there is here, and I always feel bad because there's too much to do and never enough time. Yeah. Ever enough time.
Speaking of that, I don't know about you guys. It's hard for me to believe that it's actually the last night. I kept feeling today like I'm kind of expecting there to be another full day tomorrow. I'm going to get up and we have another full day. And I kept reminding myself that, nope, we're going home tomorrow.
Well, you can ask Justin. He's been pretty sick of me repeatedly going, I've got nothing planned today. No. It's Friday. You're busy all day. What? It's Thursday. No, it's Friday.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Check your tickets. Huh. Now check your watch. Oh.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know where. I swear, like a day got lost somewhere, and I don't know what happened to it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think Thursday and Friday got merged together at some point, and we lost a day because
I don't know.
As exhausting as it's been, as long as these days have been, I still feel like I could go for another couple days.
Yeah. My wallet couldn't.
Give me some more event. Yeah.
You disgust me.
Yeah.
I need sleep.
Well, that's your problem.
I need sleep.
I am looking forward to having my own bed again.
Yeah.
I have to kick the cats out of my space. Apparently they took it over while I was away.
Yeah. I mean, that's what they do.
And maybe that's because I know you guys have been getting up way earlier than I have for the most part, especially yesterday. You guys were up and out of here. I slept till like 11 yesterday, so I felt great.
I think that's where part of your lost day comes from, though.
Probably. Because I really only had half a day yesterday.
But then Ricky and I did the same thing last year when we were staying as a group in an Airbnb a couple miles out. Like, we were the first ones out of the house almost every single morning, and we were almost always the last ones to return at night.
Yeah.
And I know,
but I'm willing to sacrifice that, like chunks of sleep, just to get more experience.
Exactly, and you have
yeah.
to know yourself. I'm not a morning person, but furthermore, I know that if I don't get at least a decent amount of sleep, I'm not going to have fun. I'm going to be miserable.
You're just going to be exhausted.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
Yeah,
so
no.
it enhances my experience to make sure that I get an adequate amount of sleep.
Yep. You said the other day, what is it? At least 3 hours, just to be healthy.
That was the minimum for
3.
generally for anyone, but I won't function on 3 hours.
Yeah, I've had to make sure.
I can do it like a day. Like I can function on 3 hours once, and then like the next day I have to get like a full like 8 hours. So I know myself. I can push on myself that once, but like you need to make sure you get your sleep. You need to make sure you hydrate and get your food.
And don't forget to shower.
And because you're in a con with a whole lot of people, and it's not, it's August. It's not cold outside. It's not cold inside. Yeah. Shower, clean up. Hygiene is always a good thing.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be about all our ramblings for tonight, I think. Unless someone has any final words, thoughts, feelings, concerns.
No, if you have an opportunity to go to GenCon one day.
Even one day. Do it.
Just do it. Get there early. Get there as early as you can to avoid all the will call lines.
If you're there for one day, get there early. Make a full day out of it.
Yeah.
And enjoy yourselves, because that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know one last thought I will throw out there is, having been in that Airbnb last year, about 15-minute Uber out, and now having the hotel on Skywalk this year, this is definitely the way to go if that's an option.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily budget friendly unless you start, bunking up and splitting it. But yes, the convenience is there, and I will say, if you can pull it off, it was
significantly nicer. Like we were saying, last year we didn't go back to the Airbnb during the day at all. It was
ever,
not even once.
Yeah, you left in the morning, you came back as late as you could. Just being able to stop back here for 2 minutes to drop off all of our swag, all of the stuff that we purchased, everything.
50 pounds of balsa.
Yeah. Yeah, you and your broken token.
Hey, man.
Yeah, it was a lot nicer because, you don't realize it, but all of a sudden, like, you're carrying around a backpack. You're like, this backpack is heavy. Like, oh, yeah, I've been just buying random tiny things here and there, and they've all added up.
I've been carrying less and less stuff in my backpack each day, and it still feels as heavy as the first day.
Yeah.
Because I think I'm just that more tired and exhausted from it. So
yeah, I don't know how many times I've made the trip up here just to drop a few things off, some dead weight or something that wouldn't fit in my backpack, or even just to come up and get off my feet and get some quiet time for an hour.
Yeah.
Right.
Being able to jump into...
I soaked my feet for like 20 minutes while... you guys were grabbing food and before our event today.
Yeah.
I didn't tell you guys this, but it was just one of those things, like, this is like day 3 of a con. I've been on my feet like all day, every day. And while once upon a time I worked retail, I've been in like a cushy desk job for past 7 years.
Yeah, same.
So me getting on my feet for like 3 days straight doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah.
So I was a little like TLC for my feet of like, let me just like fill the tub to my ankles and soak them. And meanwhile, I was like looking through programs, looking at things like, okay, where am I going? What am I doing next?
Yeah.
While I was doing that. So, use the time wisely. I love coming to GenCon. It's such a blast.
Yeah.
So, like you said, if you can make it out one day and do it, it's worth the experience.
Yeah, and like you said, at least, what I'll say is if you don't, if you can't stay in a hotel next to or, connected to the convention center, at least bring your car like on the days that you plan on purchasing stuff so you can run back and drop stuff off because carrying stuff for 12 hours straight is gonna...
Or make a friend.
Yeah, we've had a lot of friends that have just come up and just drop stuff off. And
we of our group, we were the only ones that have a connected hotel, so we've been used as a stashing point for midday.
Yeah,
just like we had a friend last year who had one.
We did to someone last year.
They were our stashing point,
right? And that's honestly, it's perfectly fine. Just make sure you know each other, trust each other.
Yeah,
because
what bag of games?
Yeah, well, I just put that up on eBay.
Yeah, we have one of our friends who has all of his exclusives and like sold out.
It's in our possession right now.
Yeah, I know.
Ha 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 ha.
He's just lucky we like him. We like him, Justin.
He has my car.
That is true. That is a fair trade.
I kind of want my car back, so I think he has the bigger hostage.
There you go.
So yeah, that's going to wrap up our final finale of GenCon 2019. We will do a recap in a week and a half or so as we recover, gain our sanity, get back into real world, unfortunately. And yeah, I think we got some new games coming up for that are prime real estate for doing some reviews on.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So plenty of content now that we've gotten refreshed with more games.
We're reinvigorated.
You sounded so convincing.
So convincing.
It's way too early in the morning.
Yeah, it's 3:03.
And we got to check out in the morning, so we can't even like sleep in. So, my final words are, hey man, it's GenCon. This is what it's all about. This is actually one of the reasons why Tabletop Arcanum exists. So
exactly.
Let's do this one more day, and we'll talk to you in a week and a half. If you have any questions about the con, about anything we saw on our social media,
you
hit
can
us
check
up
out our
on
pictures, all that fun stuff.
Instagram, Twitter, Facebook.
All at Tabletop Arcanum.
Hit us up.
Our email address, tabletoparcanum@gmail.com. Again, Doug, thank you for putting up with us for the past few days.
Yeah, all joking aside, thanks for having me. It's been fun, just rambling and talking about our experience.
Yeah.
So, till next time, this is Justin.
This is Ricky.
And Doug.
See you on the other side of the table. You've been listening to Tabletop Arcanum, hosted by Justin Taylor and Richard Geese, and featuring the original music by Paul Moore and Isaac Gilbert. You can follow us on most social media platforms. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave us a review on whatever platform you listen to podcasts. As always, thanks for listening.